The Burger King restaurant is bustling this evening. Families sit together, couples enjoy their meals, and in the corner, an elderly man sits alone. His shoulders are slightly hunched, his hands clutching a simple burger as if it's the only meal he'll have today. His clothes are worn and slightly tattered, yet his face radiates a calmness that contrasts sharply with the chaotic atmosphere around him. While most guests pay him no attention, three teenagers have set their sights on him. Not far from his table, three boys around 16 or 17 years old sit in trendy sneakers and expensive brand-name t-shirts. They exchange mocking glances, whispering to each other before their murmurs turn into snickers. "Hey, look at Grandpa over there." One of them sneers with a smirk. "Does he even have money for food? Or is he just collecting leftovers from the tables?" The others burst into laughter. A few customers glance over, clearly annoyed, but no one intervenes. "Maybe we should leave him some spare change," the second teenager adds, holding up a coin with exaggerated kindness. "He looks like he could use it." They laugh again as the third boy pulls out his phone. "Let's take a picture. Hashtag poverty in real life." They grin at their own joke, typing away on their screens. Meanwhile, the old man continues to sit silently, seemingly unbothered. But someone else in the restaurant has seen everything, and they won't stay silent. What the teenagers don't realize is that a man sitting on a nearby bench has been watching them closely. His eyes narrow, and he slowly sets his drink down. The situation has reached a tipping point. It's time to step in, because what these teenagers don't know is that this old man isn't just anyone. And the truth is about to hit them like a cold slap in the face. The teenagers keep laughing, their confidence growing as they lean over their table. "Hey, Grandpa, need some spare change for your next burger?" One of them jeers loudly. A few guests turn their heads, some shaking their heads in disapproval. But still, no one steps in. The old man doesn't react. He chews his food slowly, his gaze fixed on his tray as if lost in thought. Suddenly, a deep, steady voice cuts through the noise. "I think you should reconsider who you're talking to." The three boys freeze. "Hey!" Tall, broad-shouldered man rises from a nearby bench and walks toward them with measured steps. His expression is cold, his gaze piercing. "You think this is funny?" he asks, his voice low, but laced with controlled anger. "Mocking a man you know nothing about?" The teenagers exchange nervous glances. One of them shrugs and mutters, "It's just a joke." But the man doesn't waver. He turns briefly to the elderly man and nods respectfully before locking eyes with the teenagers again. "You have no idea who you're disrespecting. And I promise you, if you knew, you'd be standing here with a very different expression right now." A heavy silence blankets the restaurant. All eyes are now on the elderly man. The truth is seconds away from being revealed. The teenagers exchange uncertain glances. One of them lets out a nervous chuckle, trying to break the tension. "Who cares? He's just some old man." But the tall stranger remains calm, his gaze unwavering as he speaks in a firm, deliberate voice. This man is not just any retiree. He's a former Marine, a war veteran who risked his life for this country. The air inside Burger King grows heavy. Conversations at the other tables come to a halt as the words echo through the restaurant. Slowly, the elderly man lifts his head. His tired but sharp eyes hold a story of sacrifice and hardship. "I fought for your freedom so you could sit here and laugh," he says, his voice steady yet laced with quiet strength. "And now I should be ashamed just because I got old?" One of the teenagers swallows hard. His eyes land on the old man's hands, scarred and worn, marks of a past he had never noticed before. Suddenly, their jokes feel small, cruel. None of the boys can find the words to respond. The tall stranger, now revealed as a former comrade of the veteran, looks at them one last time. His expression is stern yet purposeful. Respect isn't something you can buy. But today, you have a chance to learn something that might just make you better men. The teenagers stand awkwardly in front of the old man, their gazes lowered. One of them finally mutters a quiet, "We're sorry." But the words sound weak compared to what they've done. The veteran studies them with calm, thoughtful eyes. He doesn't look angry. He doesn't even look disappointed. Instead, there's a deep exhaustion on his face, one that only someone who has been underestimated and overlooked too many times can understand. After a long silence, the veteran takes a deep breath and nods. Respect begins with understanding, he says, his voice steady. When you see someone who looks different from you or doesn't have as much, remember, you don't know their story. The boys nod slowly, their expression serious. They had thought they could mock a defenseless old man. Instead, they had received a lesson they would never forget. As the group turns to walk back to their table, one of the boys hesitates. He reaches into his pocket, pulls something out, and carefully places it on the old man's table, an untouched meal voucher. I know it's not much, but maybe it's a way to say thank you. The veteran raises an eyebrow. Then a faint smile crosses his lips. He says nothing but pats the boy's shoulder, a silent gesture of forgiveness. The tall stranger watches them go, shaking his head with a small smirk. "Maybe there's hope for you yet," he mutters. The teenagers leave the Burger King, but they don't feel triumphant. They feel humbled. Today, they learned that real strength isn't about putting others down. It's about showing respect, even when no one expects it. As the door swings shut behind them, a reflective silence lingers between them. They hadn't just mocked a stranger. They had judged a hero without ever knowing his story. Ethan, usually the loudest, shoves his hands into his pockets and mumbles, "We were real idiots." Ryan nods slowly, while Jake glances back through the window. The old man is still sitting at his table, but this time he doesn't look like just another invisible old man. In their eyes, he is now someone who has given them a lesson they will carry for the rest of their lives. If this story moved you, don't forget to share it and leave a like. Respect and compassion can change the world. Sometimes it starts with a simple lesson. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.